French, but shalom greetings to you all. Congratulations go out to Donald Trump, the 45th President of the United States. What a strange year-long ride this has been. And I'm sure everyone everywhere can now breathe a sigh of relief that it is over. It's time to get on with life. Nobody told me there'd be days like these. Nobody told me there'd be days like these. Nobody told me there'd be days like these. Strange days indeed. Strange days indeed. Now that, of course, was John Lennon, Milk and Honey. If only he knew. What a year! Bob Dylan gets the Nobel Prize, and Donald Trump wins the presidency. You can't write this stuff. Now, in reality, enough already. We all wish the best for a house divided. We hope it doesn't stay divided. And friends, when you talk about this strange election, remember this. This was a modern historical story of faith. A man written off all year, ridiculed, railed against, with almost no visible signs of support. But he was a man who stood to his beliefs and his faith in the higher good of the people, that they would prevail. If we learn nothing else, we can learn that and reconnect to faith ourselves. Whether you like him, hate him, fear him, love him, respect him, all I am saying is give him a chance and learn from his demonstration of faith. It manifested the presidency against all odds. Imagine what faith can manifest for you in your lives. And I continue to have faith in the goodwill of all of you, that you show me, that you show all the members of our community, and that you show the people in your lives and loves, and that you show yourself. Well, friends, I'm certainly enjoying my travels, although I miss certain things from home. But within a week, I will be back, and hopefully then I can get the videos back up and running properly. While away, I've seen people I have missed, and I have met others that I feel I have known for years. And that can often be the case when we travel. And congratulations, Bob, on your grandson, Nadav. To wake every day surrounded by those you love, holding your new grandson, walking along the ocean with Rudy. Another fine example of modern faith. And as they say, you either got faith or you got unbelief. And as I said, I have faith we can help heal all those in need of healing and renewal. So let us all send out some goodwill and healing energy to all that you know in need. Think of those in need of healing, of renewal, of help, and call out healing energy for them. Me, Shabera, Avotainu, Makor HaBracha, Limotainu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing. The renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. May Shabbat, let us all have our spirits renewed on an ongoing basis, my friends. Renew every day. Now, when I gave the introduction for the year just a couple of weeks ago, and then again, I mentioned it during the first and second parshas, I emphasized there was a great demonstration of faith at the beginning of the Torah, which I asked you to note as the book continues. Now, in the relationship between God, man, creator, and created, we saw it especially last week with Noah, and it continues this week. Lech, Lecha, go. When the same word is used twice in a row like that, it is an emphatic go, you go. Or as George Harrison had written on his famous guitar Rocky, go cat go. And friends, take note, because we will see the double name calling, which is from this double word, altered. just a little bit later on to become the double name formula for God speaking to specific individuals in an emphatic way, always marking life-defining moments. And it's coming soon. Abraham. Abraham, regarding Isaac. Later it will be Jacob. Jacob, at the dream of the ladder. Then at the burning bush it is Moses. Moses. The most enigmatic of all, perhaps, during Exodus, when God calls on himself Yahweh. Yahweh. But for now, it is go, you go. Now, these are the first words from God to Abraham, and they're about as life-defining as you get. Genesis 12:1. And Yahweh said to Abraham, go from your land and from your birthplace and from your father's house to the land that I'll show you. Now, God's telling him to leave everything he knows and everything that he's connected to. Go. Get you to a land I'll show you. Well, here we go, my friends. Faith. Who else is going to listen? Would you listen to that? Those of you who would have faith. Now, we know the Bible opened in controversy. The cosmic story with multiple celestial beings. Now the controversy continues. But it continues over things that aren't really that necessary. Just where is Abraham? Or Abraham, as he is originally named. Where is his place of birth? How old is he? These are not things that we should be overly concerned about. But because of the way the Bible's written, those have taken on controversy that they don't need to have. Well, he's been called Abraham from Ur of the Chaldees for centuries. Ur being one of the great Mesopotamian centers. But he later sent his servant to the land of his birth, to Haran, to find a wife for Isaac. And so one of the conflicts we have here is because God introduces the Abrahamic covenant by saying he brought him out of Ur. Genesis 15:7. And he said to him, I am the Lord who brought you out of Ur of the Chaldees to give you this land to inherit. Now notice that this is also a phrase that will take on huge proportions after the Epiphany, when everything God introduces from the Decalogue on is with the phrase, I am the Lord who brought you out. But then it is in reference to Mitzrayim, confinement, Egypt, slavery. Conflict with no resolution. It simply might have once again been two sources edited together, but not fully reconciled. Accept it as being irreconcilable and move on. Does it really matter to the real story of Abraham and the patriarchs just where he was from? I do not think so. And Abraham's is actually the most fascinating story of them all, and perhaps the least discussed. And with his instructions to leave, he is told, Genesis 12:3, and I'll bless those who bless you, and those who affront you I'll curse. Now note those words too, my friends. We will hear those words again later in the Balak story of Numbers. So how old was he? We're told to pack up as a sign of faith and move on. Genesis 12:4. And Abraham went as Yahweh had spoken to him, and Lot went with him. And Abraham was 75 years old when he went out from Haran. Out from Haran, not Ur. And he's 75 years old. Well, he's no spring chicken. And one of my two favorite Midrash tales, and I love the Midrash tales, designed to elevate him to special status. And his story is so amazing that he did not need the elevation. And many can recite it to you as if it were gospel. He worked in his father Terah's idol-making shop. And one day when Terah was away, Abraham took a hammer and destroyed all the idols. And when his father comes back and asks what happened, he says, another idol did it. At which point his father says, it's not possible. It's just an idol. And Abraham says, see, they are not God. Now this was the way we proved that he was the first to realize there was only one God. Friends, it's a great story. It has no basis in fact, but if you're going to promote someone as being the first Jew and therefore the first believer in one God, well, it's a great story. And since I was not there, it could very well have been true. Abraham has been touted as the first Jew and the father of Judaism, but he practiced no religion we're familiar with. And as you read the Torah, you know there actually are no Jews yet. Now, Moses might be better considered the first Jew since he brought religious instruction. At most, Abraham might be the first monotheist we are introduced to in history, except that even that's doubtful. As we see in this parsha when he meets Melchizedek of Salem, from the Hebrew Melech, king, and Tzedek, righteous, that is, the righteous king of Salem, or as it was subsequently known, Yerushalem, and a priest of Elyon, the Most High, the highest God, creator of skies and earth. Same reference we see as the Torah ends with the Song of Moses. Notice, friends, that buried in the midst of a very strange story about a war of kings is the introduction of a priest king of Jerusalem. That's something that will hover over the history of the promised land in the Torah forever. But we've moved a little off topic. Some see the instructions to leave as one of the famous 10 trials of Abraham. Trials of faith and observance to God. He's leaving home. Bye, bye. Now, trials were big in biblical and classical times. They were the signs of great heroes. Sargon faced them. Hercules faced them. Abraham faced them. Jesus faced them. Now, our sages have agonized a lot over Abraham's travels in Egypt, in particular, his lies and deceptions, Sarah's marriage to Pharaoh, and Abraham's position in Pharaoh's court, his treatment of them and their treatment of him. Now, it is fascinating, simply fascinating. And if we truly examined and evaluated the things he learns that he passes on, we could rewrite history, but that would entail a lot and is deserving of its own examination. And just as last week we were introduced to and heard the first of the 4 biblical covenants, this week we hear the second. Now, it's prefaced by Abraham's whining about who will inherit his wealth. God tells him in a dream that his own offspring will. Now, there's 2 things to notice, my friends. After the cosmic Bible ended and the Bible of the patriarchs begins, God comes to man in dreams or visions and communicates that way instead of walking and talking, like in the garden. The other thing is we have someone listening to a dream as a sign of faith. Genesis 15:6. And he trusted in the Lord, and he reckoned it to his merit. So trust in your dreams. Take note of them. Have more faith in yourselves. And God follows it up with a foreshadowing comment. And as the sun was about to set, deep slumber fell upon Abram, and now a great dark dread came falling upon him. Notice the term, deep slumber. This is the same Hebrew word, tardama, used for Adam's sleep when God fashions Eve. In Genesis 15:13. And he said to Abram, you shall know that your seed will be in an alien land that is not theirs. And they will serve them, they will degrade them for 400 years. Bum, bum, bum. In one sentence, we're told about the coming period of enslavement in Egypt. And if that's not enough, this whirlwind of activity brings us meeting the characters of one of the High Holy Day readings, the story of the birth of Abraham's eldest son Ishmael and his mother Hagar. It's an incredible story. And it's the story which marks the official introduction of angels, messengers, into the Bible. Please do read it. And we're witness to the name change of Abram to Abraham and Sarai to Sarah, historically far more significant than you can imagine. And as I said, we're about to listen in on the second of the 4 great biblical covenants, Genesis 17:7. And I'll establish my covenant between me and you, and your seed after you for their generations as an eternal covenant to become God to you and to your seed after you. And I'll give you and your seed after you the land where you're residing, all the land of Canaan, as an eternal possession. And I'll become a God to them. To your seed, I have given this land from the river of Egypt to the great river, the river Euphrates. Now that's an amazing stretch of land, friends, from the Nile to the Euphrates. And only once in biblical history was this amount of territory under the rule of any one individual. But that's for another time. This is my covenant that you shall observe between me and you and your seed after you. Every male is to be circumcised among you. So there's the price for receiving all this land. Now that includes natural children at 8 days old and slaves when they are acquired. Now God then goes on to tell Abraham that Sarah will give birth to a son and that through him the covenant will be attained, not through Ishmael. And God then names the son, probably the only time in the Bible that God names someone himself. And that is fascinating in itself. And the Parsha then ends as we learn that Abraham was 99 when he was circumcised and Ishmael was 13. Ouch. Well, the world is sacred, so is everything in it. Express your gratitude. Light a candle, make a wish. Celebrate your life and the lives of those you love. Share your feelings with them. Live free, be free, honor your freedom. Be well, be happy, be blessed. Share and honor the light and all who live in the light and continue to shine. Continue to send everybody you know, my friends, goodwill and love. Pray for peace and freedom for everyone and to terror and hatred. Remember, friends, we are a community. We learn together, we celebrate each other, we love each other. We share this ride together. Men and women equally. Let us send out love, not fear. Send out peace, harmony, good healing to all who need it. And please do learn to forgive, learn to love, open your hearts, honor the relationships of your life. Tell those you love that you love them. Take advantage of the time you have. Enjoy the journey. We take the twists and turns and the patterns that weave through the fabric of our lives in our effort to grow, to learn, to be, to love. So please do love. Send healing, goodwill, and love to all who need it. Share yourself with your friends, my friend. Now, bless you all. Have a fantastic week, a week of love and light, a week of peace and healing for you to honor the people of your life, honor the journey you're on, and honor yourselves. Keep your eyes open to what you may not be seeing. Keep your ears open and listen to the world around you. And remember, this is an organic book. The lessons, the laws, the ethics, the ritual change with the times. So it stays current, relevant, new, meaningful, and continues to provide us with insights and with answers. Remember, we set in motion all that happens in our lives. Our intention, our cause, our effect, everything is linked. Now, as I've said, you always have time to forgive and to be forgiven. You do have the knowledge of what is good and bad. So acknowledge what you've done wrong to yourself, to God, and to any other person you have wronged, and then ask forgiveness. Do so with sincerity, with accountability, and with vulnerability. Now, do not stop your journeys. Do not stop moving towards your promised land. It is in sight. Keep on dreaming, keep on being, keep sharing, keep shining, keep teaching. Keep spreading your holiness. Do not follow fear. Now, friends, a great light went out this week. Goodbye, Leonard Cohen. Hail and farewell. Let us all celebrate a great spirit whose soul now rests beneath the wings of God. Now, I've heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord. But you don't really care for music, do ya? It goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, the major lift, the baffled king composing hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. May his spirit shine forever. Now, thank you all for joining me, for participating, for sharing your lives, your loves, your time with me. Now, I love you all. I look forward to seeing you all next week. Be well till then. And, of course, next week I will be back home. Shabbat shalom and blessings to you all. Take care.